Awakenings has one of the most fascinating and beautifully executed narratives of any film I've ever seen. And in terms of Robin Williams films, I have to say it's quite underrated. I personally don't know anybody who would say Awakenings is their favourite of Robin's films. And while it's not one of my favourites, I'd say it's definitely in the top 10, maybe even in the top 5. This was released in 1990, directed by Penny Marshall, written by Stephen Zaillian, and based on the book by Oliver Sacks. And alongside Robin Williams, it also stars Robert De Niro. And this is an Oscar-nominated film. It was actually nominated for 3 Oscars, which is no mean feat, of course. It was nominated for Best Picture, Best Actor for De Niro, and Best Writing. And while it didn't win any of those, not a big deal, because the film itself is incredible and it just speaks for itself. The description from IMDb is as follows. The victims of an encephalitis epidemic many years ago have been catatonic ever since, but now a new drug offers the prospect of reviving them. And this is set in the late 60s, and it looks at this idea of, as it says, reviving. Maybe that's not the word I would have used, but I guess fair enough. Reviving these people who've been in this catatonic state for a long time, many years, and they're kind of just frozen at that point. And this looks at the concept of whether or not they should be brought back, I guess. Maybe, again, not my best phrasing. But the moral aspects of using this drug on them and whether or not it'll work as well, ultimately, and what they will be able to fully remember and what they'll be able to do. Obviously, the drug's probably not going to have the same impact on every individual. And it's pretty intense. This is based on a true story of Dr. Sacks, the writer behind the book on which this is based. I don't know how true it is to that narrative. I think the fact that the doctor has a different name in this, Robin Williams plays Dr. Sayre, suggests to me that it's not 100% word for word as the novel is. If you've read the book, let me know. I'd love to know kind of how it compares. But I actually think I'd quite like to read it as well at some point. But the film itself is... It's emotional. The tagline for this film is, "There is no such thing as a simple miracle." And that just sums it up perfectly. It's beautifully acted. We have a great mix of characters. The actors who are playing these patients haven't got an easy job. And they've done remarkably, fantastically well. Across the board, they're all brilliant. And obviously Robin Williams is fantastic, and De Niro does a brilliant job as Leonard Lowe. It's a fascinating concept, brilliantly executed, quite intense, because at no point is it clear what the outcomes are going to be, or what will work, what won't work, will there be side effects. It's medicine at its finest, but potentially also at its most risky. And it's emotional. I did cry. I guarantee you will as well. It's stunning. If you haven't seen it, please watch it, because it's beautiful. There's something in it for everybody. Awakenings is a film that will touch you for life.